Lamp. Okay, so we're now up to stanza three. Um, Atiush daiwa wispongho akatwanangho sta chithrim. Um, all you but at indicates here a kind of transition. Uh, use use daiwas yush daiwa are all as to lineage, yeah, chithrim, uh, from evil mind. Uh,
Hmm.
however, I wonder if there isn't a uh, wordplay on chithra because chithra means um, bright, visible, clear, uh, as can be seen from uh, 45, Yasna 45, 1c, where it's chithra z with a long schwa, the z maintaining the original Old Western outcome of chithra z. It hasn't been younger westernized there to chithro z. So, for it is clear, is the meaning there in Yasna 45:1. Also, Yasna 34:4, uh, where you get visible help with the word awa, help. So, uh, I think that there may be a wordplay here because if we look at the fifth stanza, um, the last hemistich of the fifth stanza, um, whereby Yah uh, and the Shaya is discussable. Maybe it's you can. Uh, it's a little hard syntactically, or someone who is able probably detects, discerns rather. Fra chinas from the stem chinat, ruchit. Uh, you know, you have chinat chinta in Sanskrit from the root chit, whereby someone can discern the drugwant. So if you have their root chit, um, so maybe this means you are discernibly, you're clearly uh, all from evil mind. Just a thought, but this particular text is full of double meanings.
Hmm.
Uh, Yascha war mash yazaite. And that word mash is a problem.
Yeah, I was wondering what
I,
you made of it.
please, I'm sorry.
I was wondering what you make of MASH.
Uh,
Is it a grandee or something like that? Or
Umbach thought it was a grandee, um, but uh,
Is it a root
it
noun?
could be in theory some kind of adverbial, an stem adverbial from mas, great. And
Hmm.
I don't know what more to say about that. So some people say the person who worships you greatly, meaning big time, something of the sort. Uh, I don't quite understand what the great one who worships you, or the grandee uh, who worships you. I don't quite understand what that's
I
doing.
don't either, but
May I ask, there is evidence that this root Meg, M-E paddle G, formed an S stem,
If you
whose
reconstruct, sorry, yeah, you want a laryngeal, don't you?
well, that's the thing. Like this particular root seems to have been ended in just a palatal G, and the H2 seems to be of suffixal origin. What I wonder about is the S stem, because there is ush, right? Isn't there ush in as a FCM in Avestan? So what I
Ash as
want,
a prefix means
yeah, as a prefix, but
ush,
ultimately
yeah.
like basically an S
Usually with
stem
an adjective,
variant.
ush plus adjective, yeah?
Yeah, yeah, like an S stem variant of the H2 stem that you see in Greek, aga. So, what I wonder about is whether what we're seeing here with this mush is an accusative singular of the S stem without a ablauting vowel before the suffix. So it's like whether it would be like a megs, whether it would go back to a megs. Does that make any sense?
Okay, so firstly, are you reasoning that if there were an aspirate powerful G there, you'd get marge? Is that what you're reasoning?
Well, so what I'm wondering about, and I don't happen to know the historical phonology here, but what I'm wondering about is would the sequence M E paddle G S give you that mush that you see, or that the mush
Yeah,
that you see there?
it
Yes,
would. It
it
would.
would. So what I'm wondering about is whether you're seeing an accusative singular of an S stem with a full grade of the root and a zero grade of the suffix. Does that make any sense?
I'm not sure. I was hoping for a kind of uh, S, which looks like an old genitive that has an
In,
adverbial
in in
function.
theory, in theory, it could be like yeah, a genitive ablative of a root noun, meg. That's one possibility, but I'm just wondering about, what the preform of it is and then what the morphological analysis is of it is, you know.
I'm not the question with about Ash, whether Ash is really has a sh, or if the sh is the same kind of sh as you have in Asha, from Asha, let's
Oh,
say from
okay.
Arta, meaning I think that is one possibility. I don't know if it's so. As far as Greek aga goes, uh, there was Antila uh, at UCLA.
Uh-huh.
Don't think he's with us anymore, but um, Raimo Antila uh, thought that aga in compounds like Agamemnon, at least, and I think he believed that for all agas. Uh, I, I may be misremembering his argument, but he thought a name like Agamemnon doesn't mean very memorious or whatever Memnon is. Um, well, but memorious in the agon, in the race, um, so that the last a, aga, would be zero grade of an N. Um,
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Is it clear that aga is,
It's like an intensifier. So agaklutos means very much heard of. And so Agamemnon, my understanding is that means one who is steadfast in enduring an attack. So
unless one believes
very much
Antila,
remaining.
and with Antila, uh, you have to, with his hypothesis, you have to assume that there was a reinterpretation of the Aga, and I just don't know.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I mean, the only reason I bring this up with the mush is that uh, if there is an ush as a kind of compound or prefix, if you will, a compound form turned prefix in Avestan, that's the absolute zero grade of an S stem, megos,
Yeah.
whose accusative, whose archaic accusative, megs, we might be seeing here. That's all I'm saying. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, that's possible. That's makes sense to me. Um,
I've got
unless,
Yeah.
another curveball idea here,
yes,
which is that it's the goes with Latin mox soon, right? Which we have in
Okay.
the Vest in moshu, and it's just the non-U stem extended form of that, right? Which we must have in Old Irish mo and maybe in Latin mux, which
and Vedic
sorry, what did
Makshu
you say
also.
before Latin?
so
Mox?
Old Irish has mo, meaning quickly,
Oh, oh.
soon, right? Which goes has to go back to a mux without a final U. And Latin mux could be that, or also have lost the final U. Vedic has makshu and Avestan has moshu, so it's clearly a palatable K there. So, I mean, it would come out that way, right?
So
So,
what is I believe that Tim Barnes wanted to connect that with machomai in Greek,
yeah, yeah,
meaning like run to something.
running, yeah. Well, I don't really believe that, but I mean, so who believes you quickly, right? Would be
Sorry,
the
Machomai to I battle?
yeah. That's another idea, which Tim Barnes has about the ultimate etymology of mux.
Hmm.
But I was just suggesting that this could be the exact match of mux and mean, quickly, soon.
So does
So,
that fit our context?
well, yeah. I mean, uh, all those who rush to your worship, right? Who worship you, quickly, I
Oh,
guess.
quickly and not soon. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, uh-huh.
Just phonologically, it works.
Um, yeah. Trying to think of semantic parallels for that. Bimhera in Hebrew, uh, soon from the root to rush might be a parallel. Uh, yeah, that's interesting. I like it. I don't like this dubious great word. Um, so I think that's interesting. Something lingers in my mind about a connection of this with Mox, and maybe I even once was thinking about it. This,
But
yeah.
so there is evidence for a root noun in Avestan maz, right? There is a
Uh,
root noun meaning great.
um, okay, here's the thing. Now that you poked me, uh, we have Mazista, for example, greatest.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I uh, uh, I am fairly sure that in the compositional uh, charting, which I call scrim, whereby you take two texts and see if stanza for stanza, I mean, if you can't get the same without skipping any stanza, uh, lineup of basic uh, words, which I call lexemes, I think I can chart Yasna 32 with, I'm not sure, I'll have to look it up, uh, 49 or whatever, but as I recall, all the instances of Maz, meaning great, will line up according to this scrim business so that there would be a match in another poem, if we proceed, you know, stanza by stanza, sometimes you can get, uh, not necessarily a stanza for stanza match, but the sequence will be the same uh, from poem to poem. So I'm pretty sure that this mash uh, matches mazishta or maziyah greater or something like that. Let me take a quick look at Yasna 49 because I know that this scrims, as it were, with the Yasna 49 and see if there's a mazishta there. Sometimes you have to think backwards too. Uh, I don't have it, I don't see it here, but I'm pretty certain that mash is one of these words that uh, across various pairings of stanzas, you get uh, correspondences. Um, so if that is the case, unless there were a form from Maz, uh, namely mash from Maz, then you wouldn't get a charting with another form of Maz. It wouldn't be recognized. Uh, I don't think. So I'm afraid if I remember, and this will be my task for next time, is to find such a chart or uh, reconstruct such a chart. I mean, I have piles of them. By now, I don't know where some of them are, but um, so my work for next time will be to see if our mash here uh, corresponds in the proper order to uh, a form from Maz elsewhere. And then I think we could say whether or not it's from Maz. Uh, you can sometimes have, very rarely, but you can sometimes have um, homophony uh, in the charting. So you might have two words with the same form, but mash, unless they know it's from a Z, it wouldn't be homophonous with a form in Maz. So that has to be said.
Can I ask a brief question that's kind of relevant? So there's mazishta with a z, and there's also masishta with a s. And I'm wondering, um, are these from the same root, or does one, or because the reason I'm asking about this is that traditionally masishta with an S is associated with Greek makros,
Yes,
but
and Makos length and so
yeah,
forth.
that's the thing. But what I've heard is that Joachim Kummel has this idea that um, that voiced stops were devoiced before H2. I don't know if any other laryngals are involved. I mean, I guess H2, right? So, is this ring a bell? Right. So what I'm wondering about is whether Masishta goes back to M-E Powell G H2, isto suffix, because um, anyway, I was just curious, about that.
I don't know. Um,
Yeah.
anyone have any opinion on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the examples of that rule are pretty good, right? I
Mm.
mean,
Right.
So,
yeah.
so it would work. But
But they mean this.
so you have then Mazista and Masishta in Old Persian Mathishta with a theta, uh, and ultimately they're related. But yeah, obviously you don't, have Mazishta becoming Mathishta, but the relationship would be at another level. Yeah.
But
But they mean more like
you also have the giant word Mazan, which I guess is the same.
Yeah, that
Same
that
base.
Mazen would be from the Maz root.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, the Maz root is well established. Um, and that Mazen is an interesting word, of course, uh, because what? Mazandaran
Mm,
is the place where there were was it Mazanya or something of the sort, demons, meaning giants. Um, and there's, one concise, you know, very interesting matter with the Mazandaran and the Mazan, There's something in Manichaean for sure about those giants, the Mazanya, something like that, giants. Yeah, that's the same root.
yeah.
But
The thing that Henning wrote about.
uh, mm, no doubt I don't recall, but uh,
I
would
think
have
he
written
used
about it
Manichaean
perhaps way
stuff.
back in when he was, still uh, with the Nachlass of
Mm,
Andreas, when, Mitteliranische Manichaeika. Uh, and I think that may occur in one of those texts. Anyway,
Yeah, it's supposed to be with H1 and H2 because you have daf, the forms of, you know, da da, which have a
That's
theta
right.
in it.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes a lot of
right,
sense. So,
right.
so which reconstruction is more plausible for Masishta and related forms? Is it like parallel K, like connecting it with Macross, or should it be parallel GH H2? Because Masishta, does it really differ semantically from Mazishta?
I don't think so, right? Yeah.
Right. So given that H2 was so commonly represented with forms of Meg, give that even to the degree that it becomes a secondary root for all intents and purposes, it's likely that Masishta and related forms in S go back to a derivative of the H2 stem. So yeah. So
okay.
anyway,
And that was an interesting digression. Uh, yeah. As far as mash goes, however, a stem Maz uh, would work very well. So I'll have to report to you if I can chart that Maz, and I'm sure I can. I'm pretty sure I can. So my homework. Uh, so whoever worships you mash, um, and then you have to take the Jujascha from Parimatoi and Parimatoischa together with the uh, ablatives akat mananho, uh, or with the ablative, from bad mind. So you all are from bad mind and from druj and from parimati. Uh, druj, I translate as wrongness. I don't like lie for druj. Uh, if you want me to recap why I don't think it's lie, I'll gladly.
Okay, because I do, but go on.
Okay. Uh, you have, for one thing, in Middle Persian, and not in Middle Persian, in later Avestan, you have a demon who is the demon of the corpse, the demon of the Nasu.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, the so that's the druj of the corpse.
It's the Nasu Duruj.
The Nasu druj. So it's not a lie. It's it's a chaotic entity. Yeah, that makes the body disintegrate and that you know makes a bad smell and all that stuff. By the way, there's Persian expression, bouye na, na, and long a, uh, which is a terrible smell. I think it's really a corpse smell if you take na from na and na
Mm.
from na through. Anyway, so a demon, this corpse demon, it's not a corpse lie. And in Vedic, there are, you have a plural of druha, as it were. Um, and those are not lies. Those are malign forces. Uh, and um, by the same token, I don't think Asha is really epistemological truth, but that's yet another discussion. Anyway, I think Druj, and this Middle Persian evidence too of Druj just as a kind of demonic force, and
Yeah.
not as lie. Contrast the root stem, Druj, Vedic Druh, with the word which we can say confidently means lie, which is droga in Vedic and uh, drauga in Old Iranian. It occurs once in Avestan in connection with the Yima story, uh, and of course is uh, found in Old
Also an old
Persian.
Persian.
Well, Old Persian seems to have merged the archaic idea of Druj with the idea of lie. Uh, and so Drauga, lie in the Old Persian inscription, becomes an agent, uh, becomes a force whereby things go wrong, the lie. And there you can translate, you have to translate Drauga as lie. But I think that Drauga there sort of continues the old idea of Druj in Old Persian.
But it's interesting to observe that it's related to German trügen and betrügen, like to
Yes,
deceive and stuff like
yes,
that.
indeed.
So,
Yes.
it must have meant lie in the proto-language. It seems to have developed into something a bit different.
Well, it Trügen,
In Sanskrit, it acquires the meaning of to harm often.
yes,
Yeah.
and that is significant, and
So
that is
maybe it meant harm originally because, like the deceived semantics. So when you think about like, dubnoti and tepnutsi, for instance, which are cognate, it originally meant to like diminish, but I think the deceptive semantics I think are like secondary.
um,
It's a different root, but
I think they're secondary. Uh, but what are these Hittite words you're citing?
I think there's this word tepnutsi. What does tepnutsi mean, Michael? Deceive?
With a P.
Yeah, with a P. It's a
Yeah,
different root.
which is the Iranian
Sorry, I
root
couldn't hear you, Michael. You're muted.
tab. Um, yeah. Yes, indeed, it can sometimes mean to harm, dumb, there's a nasal infix there and whatnot. But let us not assume that, um, I mean, that Rügen represents an underlying lie. Uh, if if the root means to make something go wrong, and the way I look at things, uh, the human mind at a very basic level uh, is directional and gestalt oriented. Uh, it wants to locate itself in the world. And I think you get some very basic roots, which essentially refer to whether something goes to a goal, departs from a goal, whether you can, go straight ahead. Uh, that, of course, in locomotion of the human being is very important. So Uh, I think that the basic idea is wrongness, maybe even in a directional sense. And I wrote an article and then wrote a number of other successors to it, in which I posited a Proto-Indo-European root, drow, uh, Y32, drow, uh, meaning to go wrong, to go astray, not to go to goal. Um, and as it happens, in Iranian, that is very well preserved, that root. Uh, Vestendrawaya, uh, I showed doesn't mean run. Um, uh, are, are thou, are thou from an old drawaya with shortening of the root vowel because of the long in Sogdian means to lead astray, to seduce, um, and Parthian drow, uh, and a number of, and there's also some interesting Khwarezmian evidence. So I suggested that we have a g prefix, prefix uh, extension uh, in the Avanesian sense, uh, giving you draug. Now, it doesn't mean that draug is semantically identical to drow, but I think that there is a close connection between the two roots. What the good did, I don't know, but um, so it's another reason to look at this in terms of some kind of wrongness. Uh, and from that, of course, to steer someone the wrong way, uh, deceive, that's a very clear semantic shift.
Could the GH have been a present stem formant? Because in Greek, for instance, you've got words like, I don't know, psao, which means to rub, and you've got a psecho, and you've got other words like smocho, which also like smao and smocho and various like and you've also got a psocho. The point is that you've got kind of a series of present stems that like seem to reflect a GH, and I'm wondering whether that's a present stem formant.
And you stress the present, that is a present stem.
Well, I mean, I'm saying that because it's just a kind of a typologically common phenomenon in Indo-European for there to be a present stem formant that forms a present stem, right? And they basically create a new root on the basis of that present stem. So,
That's interesting.
so you could
So
have an
so
I
there is then a
present.
morphological uh, value to that g. That's very interesting.
Yeah,
If
yeah. I mean, I think that's
right,
the way to go as much as
might be
possible.
worth writing about it, unless it's already been written about.
No, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to collect a few of these.
Hmm.
I have the list at home, but
Well, you have my
um,
blessings to do that with Droog.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, uh, I know that there are these Greek words. There's like a psecho and a smocho, and there's and it's funny. Some of them they kind of look like they were molo-presents, like in O grade of the root in the strong stem and E grade of the root in the weak stem, but with a suffix in GH.
Hmm. Hmm.
Anyway, that's just kind of what I suspect, but I could be wrong.
Well, that's interesting. Anyone have any more comments on that point? No. So let's go then back to our text. So you're all from evil mind and from wrongness and from parimati, uh, which is something like contempt, uh, with the pari, like Greek peri, indicating a kind of what peripherality. Uh, so it is thought, mati, uh, which is not directed uh, straight on, but swerves somewhat. I mean, I think of Greek periphrono, uh, we have another word of thinking, to look down on, to have contempt for. Um, as Aristophanes has, uh, what, Socrates, uh, aerobato kai periphrono ton helion. Uh, he looks down on the sun, with double meaning. So pari, look askance, and look with contempt, something of the sort. Um, Parimati. Uh, and um, Xiaomo, Xiaomo Happy Tvitana. Moreover, I take up as moreover, um, those deeds, those doings are duplicitous. I take Tvitana as duplicitous. I think in the first stanza of Yasna 48, the same word Tvitana is used of utterances, uchta. Uh, so, uh, or declarations maybe. And this is an idea that I got from Gershevich, uh, and I think it fits nicely into the double meaning that uh, I would like to see in Yasna 32 1c. Uh, so you all are duplicitous are your actions. Uh, really, well, I like to translate that word as doings with just a touch of irony, because I think the word Shalman, I'm not the only one who thinks so actually, uh, is the pejorative equivalent of Shauthna. It's not a usual word, it's a marked word, and I think it's dualistic opposite actually of Shalman, whereby you've become heard, asrudum from asruduem, bumia haptanthe, unto the seventh part of the earth, bumi being of course earth, still around in Iranian languages like Persian, bumahan, meaning an earthquake. Of course, the seventh thingamajigam of the world means the seventh continent of the world, the seventh Karshwar. So, Karshwar, Karshwan, RN stem, means a tract from the root Karsh, to draw. And so there's seven tracts, the seven Karshwar, in Persian, the famous Haft Kishvar. In Sogdian, you have Haft Kishv for the world. Originally, this is seven tracts. So you have become famous with aorist plus a rare augment indicating past tense, and that's interesting to have an augment pop up here. It's saying it's definitely a past tense thing. Okay,
what
any
is the seventh
remarks?
climb?
Hmm?
What is the seventh climb of the Earth?
Uh, I forget what it's called. Bill, do you remember what the seventh climb of the Earth is called?
Uh, individually or
Yeah, I mean,
it's
the seventh, it just means, I mean, this unto the seventh climb means unto, the end of the world.
yeah,
So you've become known throughout the world.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's, yeah, but they do have names in the Avesta.
yeah.
Um,
They're funny names. So would you consider instead of the short asru dun as as mistake for
Juvenile, uh, slightly distracted by the fact that someone I knew had a cartoon uh, of the Keshwar. I can't resist saying this. And uh, he shows a kitchen, and on the kitchen table, somehow this is like the central Keshwar. There's a jar of borscht, which he says is one of the Keshwars. Jar of borscht. The names of the Keshwars sound like that. Um, okay, let's move ahead. Um, the question, I'm sorry.
So my question was, although the received text has uh, asrudhun, uh, could it be a mistake for a long ah? So it's not an augment actually, but a preverb.
I don't know as a preverb with through is the thing. There's a parallel form uh, with an also, uh, but I don't think it's a preverb. I don't think it's the preverb there. Um, but so
One of the things I find so frustrating about the Gathas is that there's no, as in Vedic, there's no attention to long or short syllables. There are no cadences. Um, you can't you can't go to a text and say, well, according to the meter, it should be this or that.
yeah, I mean, you do have a lot. You do have lots of secondary lengthening um, of short vowels. It doesn't mean anything linguistically. It's just the way it's written. And the way it was recited, and um, often enough, unstressed long ah and so forth is written as a short ah. It's not completely chaotic, but uh, it's very tricky, the matter of
Mm.
length of vowels. Still, I don't think you would have asru with long ah. I don't think there's a preverb with ah. No. And there is one
Let
other
me just grab something here.
form somewhere. Yeah.
Can I ask a quick question about Xiaothmong?
Yes.
So is this an accusative plural neuter of a men stem?
Yes.
Okay. And so why did they stick an M at the end of it?
Um, because the first M nasalizes the whole syllable.
Okay, and so they kind of just overdid it.
Uh, hmm, if you want to call it that, yeah. So the whole
It's just the
syllable
words that came
becomes
to mind.
the mo. Uh, I
Xiaothmong.
learned crossing a street many years ago with the late Joachim Schindler, uh, pointed that out to me. Uh, okay. Oh,
I'm just looking at Grossman. There are lots of in Vedic, lots of cases with shrew with a long ah preverb.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
How does it differ in meaning?
Doesn't
Well,
matter.
I'm just reading from Grossman, so I can't vouch for it. But he has hörbar machen,
Was
uh,
machen?
bekannt, berühmt
Bekannt
machen,
machen
sich berühmt,
und was noch?
berühmt machen. Yeah. But anyway, it is
So
attested in Vedic.
bekannt machen would do okay here. You've become known. Might be. Okay. Uh,
I mean,
maybe.
the meaning as a kind of present perfect matches the Vedic augmented aorist, perfectly. So, yeah.
Hmm. Okay.
So does that mean it doesn't have a preverb?
I'm just saying I don't know if it has a preverb or not, but I'm saying that augmented aorists in the Rig Veda usually have a present perfect translation.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that's what we seem to have here.
Okay, so this is like the second person plural of Ashravi.
Yeah, I mean, it could be.
Ashravi.
Yeah.
I could go to my Bartolome and see what the other form with either an or an is with the root through. Uh, but that would take a minute or two. I don't know if it's worth it. Uh, mm, you have a Bartolome there, Bill?
Yeah, I have to walk across my study, but I'll find it.
Makes two of us.
I
Okay,
got
what
it on my
we
screen
got?
here.
Sorry?
I have it on the computer here. I can look to see if there's
Oh
any.
gosh, that's this computer. Never even think of it. You have Bartolome on your computer.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Hmm. There's a lot of forms.
Okay. No, he doesn't list any with You get
Really?
Ivy, Upa, Fra,
And
the-
does he,
no
can you quickly see if there's any augmented form with um
Mm,
for older Western, I mean. Nothing in either Yasna 33 or Yasna 30. Uh something that looks like that. No, Yasna 33, maybe Yasna 30. No, that's the only augmented form.
yeah, and Bartolome gives a Srujdum.
Yes, that's some manuscripts have that. Uh, I know what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of a word asrushtim, uh, disobedience. That's where the us privative. Never mind. Um,
Yeah, that's a Srujdum.
yeah, uh, that is a variant with a je asruj doom, and for whatever reason, uh, Humbach and I don't know who else um, chooses the u rather than the uj, and One would have to look up the arguments for that. Why should a je be there anyway?
Wasn't there a S present to this root? Like, because there's, well, a a desiderative, right, of some
Well, you
kind of
have
early.
Strausha,
Exactly.
and that must be very old because in Russian you have what?
Slushat.
Yeah.
Slushich, Slushich, uh, something of
Kleos-
this. Yeah.
Kleoshan and Tocharian. Kleoshan.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I guess that would have meant something like, I don't know, hearken or it's not clear actually. I mean, w- I wonder what that contributed. There's here, and then there's, like lend your attention, or I don't know, something
hmm.
like that.
No, at least it's not as obscure and
That's what
extending that.
Krayenbrook argued in his.
Sorry, what?
That's what Krayenbrook argued in his book about Sirausha. It's Harkin.
Yeah, hearken. Yeah, so there's hearing, and then there's like there's the will. There's hearing, and then there's the will to hear, which is listening, right?
Yeah.
As in, did you hear me?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And hearken would be relevant in view of our next verse, uh, Yat Yushta Framimatha, uh, whereby you order, you command those things, um, with a reduplication there. The root is ma, fra mi matha, uh, mima, probably like Sanskrit hishta, um, avestan hishta, present stem of the word to stand. You command those things, you order those things. Um, I don't know why uesugi has you measure out or something like that, but it means command. Um, so you command those uh, worst things which uh, mortals uh, are doing. So uh,
What is Danto?
I think some kind of aorist of, I mean, just da stem from the root daha, originally dha. Uh, does anyone have any suggestions for that?
I've puzzled over that. I have no
Dant?
can't figure
An
out what it
aorist
is.
participle, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So let me see what do we Humba have here. Actually, I meant to look that up. Hmm. It just says producing, he translates that. It
Right.
just says nominative plural. Uh,
It's the translation is insofar as you order those worst things by offering which the mortals may grow. So offering, I think he's translating the
giving.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I think it means I think it's the other root. It's the the root.
Hmm.
But yeah, what for? Well, yeah, it's just zero grade uh, of the root. Yeah, plus participial form. So what is that?
Yeah, it's just an aorist participle.
Aorist. That's what
Yeah,
I. That's what I
aorist
thought.
nominative plural participle. Yeah.
Yeah. The reason I think it means do, as it were, which is, of course, the English cognate, um, and not give, is that in a parallel passage in Yasta 30, you have Urzio uh, from words to bring about. Um, so I think that semantically that passage in Yasna 30 is parallel and it goes like this. Um, yeah, Yasna 35a. Of those two manus, uh, that one who is the Drugwa uh, chose Achishta Wurzio. Funny form that Wurzio looks like it has an infinitive value, chose to bring about the worst things. Um, so I think that passage is parallel and suggests that the da is from da to make, you know, bring about, and not from da to give. Okay. Of course, it could be the things, yeah, the things which the worst people are uh, are doing, rather than the worst things which people are doing. But the parallel I just pointed to favors, at least as the primary meaning, what one should understand is the worst things and not the worst people. So by doing such things, the worst, they become the Daiwa Zushta wax, as it were. They grow. And does it mean that the Daiwa Zushta grow, or that they grow as Daiwa Zushta? Does it mean that the beloved, what is beloved of the Daiwas grow, or does it mean that they grow as being beloved of the Daiwas? I don't know.
It makes me think of there's this phrase in the Bhagavad Gita, Anarya Jushta, which are things that are enjoyed by or to which people who are non-Arya are accustomed to. So
Mm-hmm.
here, this is the stuff that the Daiwas are accustomed to. I mean, yeah, you're right. Wait. So the Daiwas would take pleasure in them, the Mashya, is that they grow as those in whom the Daiwas take pleasure. Is that the idea?
Well,
I
I'm just
think
saying.
so.
Yeah.
Sorry. So, some Bill, you said you think so? Is that you?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Well, I don't know. You can take it either way, but um, I translated it. My little notes here is um, those by whom the devas are cherished.
Mm-hmm.
So they're
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
followers of the deva.
yeah. Uh, by whom the day I was cherished rather than those whom the day was cherished. Um, okay, yeah. Um, it's a very nice root, of course, Zausch. Um, of course, cognates with Greek gewomai and, Latin, what? Gustum, is it? Um, English choose and so forth. Um, so uh, you also have Zauscha in the Westen, which means preference and also inclination, and it can even be used with the with ha equals Vedic sa, like sajosha, having the same inclination, the same taste, uh, and it figures theologically in the Gathas, hazausha, meaning having the same inclination equals nature, same nature, which are used of uh, the entities. They are hazausha theologically.
Yeah, I might have mentioned this, but it's kind of reminiscent of monothelitism, which was a kind of a Christological formulation in
The
the
homoousia.
well, there's that. I think this is a much later period when when the Byzantines are trying to reconcile with basically the church is ancestral to the Coptic church, where they're trying to basically say that the components of the Godhead are not like completely the same, but they have the same will. It's a monothelitism. And so there's the concept of will in order to reconcile like different components of the divinity. Anyway, just kind of it's reminiscent of that.
Yeah, it's a little hard to say, okay. A little hard to say that this is a parallel, but it's
No,
interesting.
no, yeah, I'm just kind of popped in my
Interesting.
head. Monothelitism, anyway.
Yeah. Uh, so they wax great as they move away from uh, good mind. So sijdia, that's the middle voice, means to move away from. You have a word siazda with a full grade, which is something like hmm, running away, withdrawing from siazda. So this is zero grade sijd with the old sibilant becoming a j. So they become great as they move away from uh, good mind and from Mazda Ahura. That Mazda would be genitive for Mazda Mazda Ahura, yeah. And as they uh, hmm, perish or um, stray, semantics here are interesting, uh, from, sorry, as they move away from the chratu, from the intellect of good mind, uh, and uh, they are well, say stray from the intellect, chateush, ablative, of good mind, genitive, um, and from asha. Um, Interesting that it's ashat is written as ashat. Uh,
So why are you taking Banghausch Manangho as dependent on Kratausch?
I'm not. Uh,
That's what I
Saying
kind of
that
heard there.
they're moving away from if
Uh-huh.
uh, from good mind, and they're going astray with regard to the chratu of Mazda Ahura
Okay.
from Asha. This to go, I mean, this seems to be the same root as, which clearly, I mean, this root clearly in a Western has to do with straying from. Uh, what does this have to do with um, the roots for dying that you have in Greek, nekros and so forth? Uh, is the common semantic link there perishing? I don't know. I don't know what's going
Well,
on with that.
you
Does
do
anyone
have like
have any?
consider the word perish itself. I mean, it's from Latin perire,
Yes,
and
exactly.
yes, the root neck meant to kind of like I don't know, spoil or go bad or die, right?
Well,
Um,
I'm asking, what are the exact semantics of that root? The original semantics,
I
whereby
mean, it must have meant simply to kind of yeah, it did mean die, but not die in the sense of I don't know. Does anyone have a sort of a
pass away.
yeah to pass away? But it wasn't a motion verb in origin. We can all agree on that.
Yeah, I
But
don't. I mean, there's something in Hittite there. There's a laryngeal there at the beginning. I think I don't know. Um,
I mean, so
I mean, if it meant to depart, then you could easily get this thing here, going astray and what have you, and uh, and dying, if
right.
it was a euphemism for dying. Anyone
Yeah,
have
it's
any?
just the curiosity, and obviously I don't want to, take people's time on this, but it's kind of the curiosity with these kind of lexical semantic developments is that when you have kind of a path, when you have a path, it can be bidirectional depending on the kind of concept you're dealing with. And what I'm wondering about is whether neck originally meant to kind of go bad and die, and that here it's developed more of a direction away from sense. Um, so
Bad, go bad, do you say?
yeah, I mean that seems to have been I mean maybe not. I mean I guess we can look at the. I'll just look at
Just
according.
that go bad in English, what, like the milk has gone bad?
Yeah.
Like
There's something about like I don't know, going rotten about neck.
you think.
Yeah, I mean I could be wrong, but
I mean, Nasu, that word certainly would fit, but I don't know. One would have to look. It might be worth looking at the various derivatives of that root, see what one comes up with.
I mean there's okay, so there is ne Latin nex, so you got a root noun there. So nex is a violent death. So that's relevant.
We also have Tocharian
Nox,
inque,
Nox,
Yeah,
word for
no,
mortal in
Nokeo.
Tocharian.
right.
Yeah. No, Nokia doesn't go with this family though.
No?
No,
Mm,
Nokia does not
mm.
mean to kill or harm. It's a different family.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is that? Nokeo, by the way.
It's the root which means to lift or carry, right? So Nokia is to sort of put a weight on somebody to burden them. This is Alan Nussbaum's idea.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we can now move away from, we can pass away from this verse.
Oh, one last question, folks. What
Good.
about can you remind me? So fra mimatha is you ordered?
You order,
You order
yeah,
present.
duplicative present,
Okay,
like
great. Okay.
Yeah,
sense
what's the root there, according to you, Mark?
ma.
Ma measure or
Ma. Yeah, ma simply means to measure. Now, or maybe it's not so simple. Why fra ma should mean to command. Uh, I'm not quite sure how to explain that semantically. Um,
One does say like to take measures, and you know what? How out of curiosity, what does the phrase "to take measures" mean? Does it mean like prepare?
yeah.
And
Yeah,
if it means prepare, it's
Do,
kind of
do things
reminiscent of,
toward do things toward a solution.
yeah, it kind of reminds me of Latin imperare. Isn't imperare a compound of im plus parare?
Mhm.
So it's basically you make provision for something and therefore you issue an order.
Could be, could be. Probably one, you know, could say a little more. I haven't thought about the semantics too much. I haven't thought about it sufficiently. But that is that root ma to measure. Uh, Interesting question. Um, I think moon, by the way, the men's word is measure, but never mind. Um, Means the measuring, but never mind. Um, the ordinary present stem, I mean, if here we have reduplicative stem, does that mean you keep on doing? I'm not sure if the reduplication has to do here with repetitive action. Uh, Ordinarily, what is reflected in Iranian is uh, fra plus present stem maya, uh, hence Middle Persian framai. Uh, uh, find that also in Sogdian framai, uh, to command, and as a noun, um, framana in Old Persian, uh, commandment, um, Persian farmon is a commandment. There's this nice Ottoman referent word firman in English, meaning the uh, decree of a sultan is a firman. Uh, Good crossword puzzle word. Um, yeah, so I'm not sure what's going on with this reduplicative stem. It could mean repetitive action.
Why do you have an before the I guess the theta of the second person plural ending?
Why do you have tishta? Uh, what is it? Tishtate. Uh,
Oh, is this a thematic verb
oh,
or is this an athematic verb?
Somebody tell me from a root ma, would you expect a shortening of the ah? Is it really for fra mi ma fa with a secondary shortening of the ah? Or is it like tish
I would expect to see
tish
fra
tat?
mim mitha because it's the weak stem.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's an athematic, it's a thematic I present, right? Which is what we expect. We like to see that.
It's wait, so it's a thematic
Thematic. Yeah.
Mhm.
I present.
I
It's
mean, not
definitely
I
thematic.
reduplicated present.
Definitely.
I
I
reduplicated
reduplicated
present.
present. Yeah.
So it's like tishta.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. As I say hishta in Iranian, I should say hishta rather than tishta, but amounts to the same thing. Okay, shall we move forward? Gets very nice here. Yeah. Uh, you,
And so just one last thing. The theta goes back to TH1E.
I think so.
If that's the case, then, this is Kimmel's situation here, right?
It's what?
This is Joachim Kimmel's rule whereby, wait, never mind.
No,
No,
this
that's
is
different.
the voiceless aspirate, right? So,
This is oh, sorry. Okay. So this is the voiceless aspirate. So wait. So this is an Indo-Iranian thing whereby yeah, I'm sorry, there's a brain fart. So in Indo-Iranian they have they take the dual the aspiration that you find in the dual, and they extend that to the primary third second person plural? Is that what happens?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, well, I don't know how it depends on how you reconstruct the second person dual plural ending and whether you think there was a H1 there or whether you think H1 can aspirate. It's all, you know.
Okay, but why don't we have like I don't want to detain people with this. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna shut up.
Okay, we'll move along then. Ta by that, instrumental, yeah, or therefore, uh, dbnauta, very interesting form, dbnauta martium. Let's scan that now. Uh, we want five, we want 7, yeah, the first. Let's say, yeah, Mashim scans as 3 syllables from Martiam. Ta is another syllable. So we have 4 syllables. Zbnauta. I think it really is Dbnauta. Hold on.
Three, four, five,
Let's
six,
see if we get 7 there. Ta, Dmau, Ta, Mar, Tiyam. No, I think we need another syllable there for Dbnauta. Ta, Dmau, Ta, Dbna, Ta, Dma, no, Ta, Mar, Tiyam. No, that's it. Ta, Dbnau, Ta, Mar, Tiyam. Ta, Dban, now, Ta, Mar, Tiyam. Yeah, I guess we need something like Dbnau, Dbanauta. There, not Bnauta.
Why isn't it simply second class? Dubnaupa.
So how many are you saying Dbnau or Dbanau?
The Dubnauta with a new class, seventh class
Uh,
in Sanskrit.
so that's
that's like
so
right? Yeah.
sorry, I'm
It's
just
like
trying to.
Dobnoti, and you have a real vowel in the first syllable. You
Yeah,
get three
yeah.
syllables for it.
Uh-huh.
So
So
one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, right?
Then it'll scan properly.
Yeah,
And of course, it's Martium.
yeah.
so that schwa uh after the d is just reduced
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. It's a little strange, that reduction, but it has to scan, so dub note, I guess. Okay, well then there's no problem. You will have tricked mankind out of uh, good life and immortality, ablatives. Um, so uh, here there's the idea of deception, dab, in the sense of to deceive rather than to injure. Um, does anyone want to suggest something for what follows? Yat. Yat hua ahum akamanangha yang daiwen akastra manu. I think it would mean just as the evil spirit, it has to be nominative, yeah, has, then you have to repeat the idea, has deceived, has tricked the Daiwas themselves via evil mind, an action. Oh, I see. An action via evil word. Second. Whereby you may detect, whereby one detects, one who is able detects the wrong someone, the evil one, if you will, Jugwant.
So I get everything like you have injured
Don't say
the
injured, say deceived.
you have deceived humanity or the human being
Yeah, trick them out of, yeah.
out of good life and immortality.
Mm.
And then hyat means what? For or because?
Yeah, that's a good question. You say because, or mm,
All right. And then because and then the subject
in
of the
which
clause
situation?
is
I don't know. Yeah.
so what I just don't understand is what's the subject of this clause introduced by hyat? Is it akashcha mainyush?
The subject is minute. Yeah, akasha, akasha, minute. So as the, I'll translate now, yat, as the uh, evil spirit via good mind has, then you have to repeat the idea, has deceived um, those who are the demons.
Yeah, you who are demons. The evil mind has deceived
You
by
indeed,
means
the
of evil
war.
mind.
Yeah, war. Yeah.
So the wall are the demons. Wa Yong Dai Wong. That's the
Yeah.
idea.
Mhm.
Okay.
So is this a case of a kind of SFA, proto-SFA type construction where you have agreement of the relative pronoun with the antecedent, even though, I mean, it shouldn't be that way? Is
Looks
it
like it.
you who are demons?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You who are those the demons, yeah. Yeah. So accused of war, agreeing with Yang Daiwan, you
Mhm.
who are the demons.
So
No,
I assume that the subject of the that uh, Akas Chamanyush, its verb is repeated for the Domnauta.
yes, that's what
In
I'm
it,
saying.
in as much as a bad mind cheated you, Davis, through um, through bad thought or something like that, the bad spirit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the bad spirit.
Let's call it mind. Yeah.
Mhm.
Don't call it spirit there. Yeah.
What's the function of the cha in akas cha
Oh.
manu? What is that conjoining?
Well, I'm wondering maybe it's conjoining aka vachongha.
Hmm,
Well, that is, it's conjoining aka manongha and aka vachongha. Maybe that's the conjunction.
really?
Well,
It seems hard to believe that they would put it in the akas after the nominative.
yeah, I mean, well, that's kind of the subject of the clause, and
I mean, why don't
um,
we just translate the cha as also, uh, just as also the evil spirit
okay.
Can we
has.
do that? Can we take cha as just also? Is that, I mean, that would be fine. Or likewise.
Just as the evil spirit has deceived you, demons, by means of evil mind and evil word, has he deceived the action.
Yes,
Is that the idea?
has he?
Well, if you take the subject of in the first in A of Gathas, uh, as you deceived or betrayed or whatever, then the cha would mean that, and okay, Manu deceived you, Devas.
Mhm.
So the cha then,
So it's
uh,
conjoining the two sentences, then
yeah.
the, yeah. Okay. It's a very odd position for it though.
Okay, yeah. And then I would take the last sentences, separately, like a comment upon the foregoing, a deed via evil mind, whereby the uh, the one who is able um, perceives who the wrong someone is, perceives the wrong someone. My only problem with this is, um, I mean, theologically, and there's a parallel with Yasna. I want a parallel with Yasna 30, whereby the evil spirit is himself, as it were, deceived, uh, so that the demons uh, trick people. The evil spirit tricks the demons, and somehow he should also be tricked. I think there's a parallel for that in Yasna 30. Um, just a sec, let me get this lamp on because I don't want to cause too much glare here. Up, this lamp is on. Okay, let me bring it over a little. Okay. Um, okay, that doesn't seem to. Now I can see much better. Doesn't seem to disturb the screen. Looking at Yasna 30. Maybe it doesn't follow that idea exactly. Should be implied, though. Hmm. No, I don't see a good parallel to Yasna 30. Okay.
So I
Uh,
have a question for you, Martin.
please.
What's the relationship of this shiathnam with Xiaoman, which we had in 3? In other words, is this a non-pejorative use?
I don't
If we
know.
determined that Shalnam was a,
It's a good question. Uh, I don't, I see the problem. I don't know how big a problem it is, and I don't know what the answer is. Maybe this time around, uh, it's not pejorative. Good question, but I don't know the answer. Unless, no, I don't have a good answer.
Are we
I mean,
interpreting
so,
Xiao?
so how would you translate C?
um, that being an action or a deed, uh, via or with uh, evil speech or evil utterance, word, whereby the one who is able, uh, whereby an able one perceives who is the deceitful one, the wrongsome one, as I like to translate. So, um, even though the action is itself evil, it nevertheless leads to the detection of the Drugwant. So, is the Sjaukna thereby slightly relieved uh, lexically from its being evil? I don't know. That's why I say I'm not sure why. Uh, I mean, I don't know. Maybe previously the Xiaoman uh, stresses the evilness of the action. Here, the action is just not stressed by, not lexically stressed as you know,
Maybe
pejorative.
the action here is not evil, but it's performed with lying speech. And so that's how the one who can distinguishes the Drugvant one from the non-Drugvant one.
Well, if it makes sense to you, I mean, I can't do anything better than that. Um, you know. Many are the Aina. Uh, uh, so we have Ainor, uh, stem is Aina, uh, cognates with Vedic anus, which is some kind of sin. No doubt people have written about what exactly anus is. But I would say in Older Western, it means anything from violence to violation. Uh, so it's a criminal kind of behavior. Uh, One clue to it might be the Middle Persian word chen, which means violence or injury. Chen, with an initial ch, to be distinguished from Cain, vengeance. I think is the same word as this Aina. Uh, and this Aina figures a lot in the rest of the poem, as we'll see. Enachta looks like it means, and at some levels it does mean, uh, peaceless, lacking peace. And the schwa, long schwa, and being really achta. There's the word achti, peace. Can you get an a stem adjective, privative, from an e word? Or do we have to say that this is a locative of anachti? I'm not sure. Can we get the privative adjective anachta, meaning not having achsti? Can someone tell me that? I don't know.
I mean, does this have something to do with the root of Greek ktaomai? I don't know. Like, where does the peace come
I don't,
from?
well, I mean, my first question is not etymological. I don't know what the etymology of ochsti meaning peace is. That we can consider after figuring everything out. But I mean, here we have what seems to be a privative. Uh, can you get then a thematic stem replacing the ear when it's privative? That's my first question.
Well, if you had an O stem as your basis, which then got substantivized as an I stem, then theoretically you could have another substantivization as an O stem, which should show up in the second part of the compound. It's not very elegant, though.
Otherwise, it could be a locative
Mhm.
of anachti, meaning in the situation of
Unpeace.
unpeace, as it were. Uh, Everyone takes this as connected with achti. I think that well may be the case, but there's another possibility, which is that this word is parallel to a form we have well attested in Avestan, younger Avestan, uh, ahangsta, another privative, where hangsta, the hang, H with a nasal A, uh, is from hum, and the chsta would represent the same chsta as here, uh, from a root chsa, ch, plain S, long A, uh, meaning to examine, to look into, to look at carefully, uh, that sort of thing. This offhand, I meant to look this up. There is a word ksha, and I think Sanskrit kya, Khy, long A, is a later form of that. Uh, I know kya, akhyana is a you have accounting, recitation, counting, that sort of thing. Does anyone remember ksha with a powerful S in Sanskrit?
Yes, ksha.
What's
It means
ksha?
to see, right? It's yeah.
Ksha, yeah.
Yeah. And kya is also means akya, it means saw.
Hmm. Um, but
But
There's a word for a great number of things. A hunksta.
Angsha, that's the word I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, um, so this could be a parallel with uh, awe instead of hum. Instead of hum, if you put an awe privative, you get something like, I think, countless. There's kya has a kya, there is an accounting, there's some kind of being able to tell something there. Uh, so I think this with zero grade from laryngeal, if chsa, is as it should, if it's a laryngeal base and zero grade in Iranian, uh, you'd have no trace of the laryngeal. And so this would mean something like many, countless, many, comma, countless are the uh, are the violations or acts of violence. Um, but I have to check the meanings of kya. And I think accounting would do okay. All the more since uh, in the next line we have hata, what is written as hata marane. Now, it's interesting that we can amend this word via a Younger Western text. Uh, maybe it's the first Yasht, I don't know. There's a list of names of Ahura Mazda. Just as you have, lists of names of Allah and Islam and so forth, there's a whole list of epithets of Mazda Ahura. And one of them is in the nominative, Hata Marinish, M-A-R, Schwa, N-I-S, nominative, which would mean from a stem, Marni, he who is able to, he who counts, from the root mar, to enumerate, to count. He who can count up or make an account of, make a reckoning of hata, merits, things gained. So
Mm.
if we take that hata marni that we gain from the Younger Western text, well, that Younger Western text takes the word from this passage, but it takes the word from a right form of it and not the corrupt form that has come about in our passage. So this idea of counting, then, reckoning, would match my thought about anachta, meaning countless. So
May I ask about I guess this word I guess uh anachta. Now the root, so there's a Sanskrit word ksha which means to count.
mm,
Is that the
I don't
situation?
know, Michael. You said that ksha in Sanskrit means.
I mean, I think well, there's a kya. That's the one that you're thinking. That
Uh-huh.
means showing or shining.
Yeah,
And
well that's
it's
different, right?
yeah, and that's a secondary derivative of ksha, right? That's what they. I mean, it's a kind of middle indices in
Middle
Vedic
indices.
for ksha and
But don't
ksha.
you have words for like telling a story? Akhyana.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I do.
But
Yes.
that's but kya originally meant something like to view or to show or something
Yeah.
like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what kya meant.
Yeah.
What I'm wondering about is whether what this uh the ksha of this thing goes back to.
Well, I think it's I think it comes from the root chsa, which is attested. It's also attested with uh, the preverb ah, and it means to look at something, to consider
Oh,
something.
so
So
maybe it is cognate with the Vedic kya.
I think it is with the middle indi middle indicized uh, word, Vedic word kya from ksha.
Okay, fair
So
enough. It's interesting that even in Vedic that you because in Vedic you have, akyat and stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
So that is a middle indicism.
It's one of those forms which they say are quote unquote middle
Yeah,
indices. And yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Fascinating.
yeah. Of which there are
Less
many.
becomes the where you actually have uh, the palatal element of the sh in the cluster ksha,
So is this
and an actual kya with a real y sound.
is this from the root H3E labiovelar voiceless plus a S?
I don't think so, because I don't think you'd get a palatal lesson.
Oh, you're right, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, well then, so if the root meant to view or to count or to
I didn't get around to looking at what the Indo-European story of ksha is. Uh, it's a curious form for sure, but
Isn't that supposed to be, the Tekmar root? It's an extended form of that root.
oh right,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, well then that
Yeah.
makes sense. And that
So
would be
labiovelar
labiovelar E
quick,
vowel
palatal.
K.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And
the
then there's
root of
maybe,
the word to the witnessing word in in
hmm
Greek. Yeah.
And then there's also like, isn't there kasiti is to show in Old Slavonic?
hmm hmm hmm
That's from this root.
Yeah.
Hmm. So you get um, labiovelar K, uh, palatal K, uh, plus whatever. Then, okay, interesting stuff.
Okay.
And still, the idea of witnessing means to, you know, be able to
Yeah.
to see. So my ideas here, eh, uh, uncountable as inscrutable, as it were. No.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, w the word for eye in Avestan is chakshman, right?
Yeah.
So that would be from the full grade of this root,
In
right?
Vestnitz Chash, in a Vestnitz Chashman,
Chashman.
which indicates a palatal K,
Uh-huh.
otherwise you would get Chashman. Therefore, Sanskrit chaksh would not have a original palatal K. It's
Well, what
Or
I'm
it
what
would have a palatal
it
K.
it
Yeah.
would, but I'm wondering,
Chashman
but
in
like chakshman goes back to voiceless labiovelar E, palatal K, and S plus men.
yes, I'd say yes.
Okay. And so this word for uncountable, did it also have the S extension in it as well?
Uh, well, if you take the root as quick, so
Yeah.
this,
And
so you then have some kind of laryngeal extension with the um, and the zero grade plus vowel plus laryngeal.
Was there a laryngeal there?
Well,
Well,
I mean, if you have ksha in Sanskrit and ksa,
okay. All right. Well, if
they're
there's
not
okay,
bilaryngal.
then I guess maybe all right, then I guess it would be either an H1 or an H2. Let me think. Hmm. Maybe it would be an H1
Hmm.
if it has some sort of stative meaning like Latin video, vidata.
Hmm. Anyway, now we have a new theme introduced into our text. I mean, I don't know. You could think about that. Maybe we should just move on. It's an
I'm actually going to have to run
interesting
now, Marty.
etymological uh,
I,
issue.
I've got
Um,
I've got to go now, Marty. So I'm gonna.
okay, well,
Yeah,
maybe
I'm going to have to.
adjourn at this point, and those that want to hang on. Uh, may hang on, and why don't we officially
Yeah.
call
Turn off
this,
the recording. Okay.
turn it off.
Before you go, Mike, I just wanted to ask,